Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start, even though I know she's gonna come to the door and demand to come in, and then no telling what more she'll want from there. Um, but one of the things I was gonna say was about I think most of it, really, like, is the today I went on to TikTok. I barely stand to be on there for very long, but it is like all of a sudden everybody is like waking up to all sorts of stuff about the eclipse. And it was so weird because it was keeping me up all night last night. Well, I mean, I wasn't up all night, but when I was up, I kept thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, and kept trying to be like, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? The way the sun was going up, the way that the sun is in New York and they're having an eclipse at the same time that the sun is right here, but we're supposedly all this far distance away. And how is the sun going up and over towards Canada when it's not coming this direction? And then I've seen other people saying like, oh, it was going a certain direction, and other people saying it was going a different direction. And I think that there's a whole bunch of different ones out there. I think that there is way more going on. And but there were so many people who started saying there was no moon, or that they saw the moon back behind them and what was covering the sun. And one person got footage of energies coming through, and so stuff was coming in to our realm like through there. It wasn't stuff going, it was coming in. And it's going to keep being like that, though. And all of the different things, just keep remembering this is all about the awakening. So every time that something is like, this doesn't make any sense, this is so weird, especially they created so much drama around this eclipse. They had people go home, they shut down businesses, all sorts of, like, I couldn't believe the crazy stuff that people were saying that they were doing in their towns and stuff, and that were on the path. And so all of that stuff has got people like, especially because nothing happened. There's so many people like, what the hell? Why was there so much buildup? And now there's just nothing. But there's a whole storm that is going in the direct path that was just sprayed. Just don't forget, like, if you saw any of the videos, they were spraying the shit out of the sky. They were spraying it so hard. And I think they kind of do it like tic-tac-toe, I think, is like take a section, spray it with something, and skip a section, then spray another section. Because there were sections that had where it seemed like it was clear for their thing. And then there was ones that said that it didn't even cover all the way. There was all sorts of stuff. But the thing that was getting me was going on to the lives. And on the lives, there was like they were having the coverage at like 3:30 in New York, and then there was people in Florida at the same time saying that they were having. I was like, okay, this is just weird. Like, what the hell is going on? Is there some kind of glitch on the timing thing, or all of this stuff just keeps showing me we're in these different realities. We're in these different like pockets of reality. And, Amy told me something that was interesting, like on her neighborhood, that she said that there was one neighbor that had no idea, nothing about the eclipse at all. And he watches the news all day long, Fox. And then another one, but that just shows you only hear what you want to hear. And then another one, and she was just like, she didn't even be bothered with anything. And, but see, that is what is going to, that's why the universe is taking action, because of like all this weird stuff. People are just so passive in their lives. They don't pay attention. Then when they do pay attention, they live in fear. They're scared of everything, or they just don't want to know because it makes them too scared. So it all has to come to the surface. So people have to face their fears. You have to face what you're scared of, overcome it. push past it. Is, this is the time that we're in, is realizing like there's nothing to fear. Everything's going to be fine. And any kind of obstacles that come your way is because you yourself created it. You wanted it to come. It was there to teach you. So don't get all in the habit of, blaming God, the Almighty, for causing your problems. Remember, you're a soul. You are like billions of years old, eternal being of light who, creates experiences. And it's the expansion of the universe. So you have an important role. People have all forgot. But the thing is even when they remember, it's not going to be like, oh, yay, I remember. No, they got to go through the realizing, why did I forget? What was I doing? There's a process to go through it. And one problem, too, is that so many people want to look at things are black or white and good or bad. That person's bad, this person's good and stuff, and not see that we're all both things. When somebody's bad, you think someone's bad, it's because they're out of balance. You think somebody's good, they're probably out of balance too, because nobody's all good all the time. Unless you're just pretending, and then you're stuffing away your feelings, hiding from how you feel so that you can please others, so that you can keep feeling better about yourself. But see, the universe isn't going to stand for that. It's going to make things happen to push you into a direction to not be dependent on other people's vision of you, or the dependence of them and their appreciation of you, or whatever the dynamic in this codependent relationship that is created, where it's like, oh, well, they're the good ones. I'm a good one. They're a good one. We're good ones. And then those other ones, they're the bad ones. And, yeah, but we're all good and bad. And so that's for each soul to have to remember. It's like, no, I'm not just good. I got bad I'm hiding from. Like, why am I scared of my bad? It's like, you got to know your bad so you can put it into balance with your good, so you can make some shifts. So you have to be willing to look at yourself as a whole, not just pick and choose the parts that you want to focus on because they make you feel good about yourself. And speaking of good about yourself, I'm so excited. Well, I went up to the food bank this morning, like I said, and I'm telling you, they did not get their grant. No way. It's got to be a part of the system breakdown. But, oh my gosh, there's barely any food. Like, I feel kind of guilty. But it's like this month I really do need to use it because I'm putting all my money towards my surgery. So I really do got to take the free food. Especially for Stella. Like, I can rough it. I can rough it a lot more, but I can't, like, make her rough it. Besides, she's so demanding about food. So, anyways, and she's a big old girl. Like, they didn't even have any. They had, today you could get 2 of these little frozen pieces of tilapia at like dollar store for, dollar little pieces. And so I cooked that up for her with some, and it had some canned vegetables, and I added some rice, and she'll probably like it, but she'll get sick of it real quick. But since it's like newer, so she'll probably like it. But I don't know. It's not very meaty. And so, she's going to have a rough time over it. Because next week I can go again and try and get some more. But, I mean, they are like, the freezer's empty. You get like one thing. And last week they had chicken wings. And so you could get a bag of chicken wings. And I don't know how many, like 8 chicken wings or something like that. And then today it's 2 pieces of this little fish. And, but the whole thing, oh my God, there's barely any food. But luckily it's like stuff like, dry beans, and, they have some vegetables right now from the farms, which always freaks me out because I swear to God, they spray extra poison on the government food. And then, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, and they had nuts. So I was like, oh, I could go next week. Because after, so I paid my payment today. And I did my pre-op appointment. And so what she said is, I'm not even supposed to travel for a month. Like, I'm not supposed to go on airplanes or anything for a month. And, which I didn't have any plan to, but, you know, you never know. And then, and not travel, that's just for domestic, not even travel international for 6 weeks. And then, they don't, like, you wouldn't even believe all the different things. Like, you can't have your dog sleep in your bed. I got to wash my sheets before I go, and I got to use a fresh towel. I got to take a shower the night before with this certain kind of soap, and then leave this cleaner on my chest, and then wash it off. And then in the morning, I knew she would do that. 11 minutes. Hold on. So then it will be, then in the morning, I have to do it again before I go and wash my sheets. So everything's got to be like sterile. And then, and it's not going to be sterile in my house. And then, still is not supposed to sleep. I'm supposed to sleep in my bed and sleep with it tilted up for 3 weeks. And then, and not have any of your pets sleep with you, which she quit getting in my bed when she got sick. And, let me think. And then I came out here and started sleeping with her. Let me think. There was something else I was going to say about the, oh, dang it. Oh, yeah, because I can't pick anything up. So I can't pick anything up or use my arms. Like, I guess you can do like T-Rex or something. Like, you can keep them next to you. But I can't do any exercise or any of that stuff for like 6 weeks. It's like, ugh, that seems like where you get out of shape. Like, you have to wait 6 weeks. And then they said I could drive myself home and take Tylenol. I ordered some Tylenol. I don't know that I would take it. And then they're giving some other drugs and stuff, but I don't think I'll fill it. Well, I'll save it just in case, you know, it's like way worse than I think. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. Like, I think it's going to feel better to get the, like, relief of those things out of there. And I think it's going to make it feel like I can breathe better. Oh my gosh, don't even start. I'm already doing this, so you're just going to have to stop it. You're going to have to wait until I'm done now. So just stop. Okay, so the, there was something about the appointment thing I was going to say. Well, anyways, now I feel super excited because now I have a doctor appointment Friday. The pre-op doctor one. The next week, make my last payment. And then, so 2 weeks from today, like next, what time is it? Oh, this is my surgery time. So this is exactly 2 weeks. So exactly 2 weeks at this time, I'll be getting this surgery. And she said it's going to take like an hour to do the whole thing, but I think it's like 15 minutes. They're just counting, getting you in there, giving the shots, and the whole thing. The whole thing is really quick. So I'm hoping to be out of there quick and start being able to drive back through the traffic. She's like, oh, you got to drive yourself back? It's like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I feel like it'll be fine. Like, it might be kind of uncomfortable, but it will still be numb from the lidocaine at that point. So it shouldn't be that bad. And then, and now I feel like it's so close. Oh my God, I'm so excited. There was something else I was going to say about the, the surgery. And coming so close. Oh yeah, because of the food thing. Oh yeah, because I can't, you know, I'm supposed to be picking food up, which I tried to set up a bunch of water, but I might have to do more because I'm not going to be able to lift up my water thing over there and put that up. So I got to be more prepared. And then, and I made a bunch of little water things. And, but that's why I was trying to get some food so I could have food, because I'm not going to be able to go to the store. Like it's funny because I can drive myself home, but after that, they don't want you to be driving for a few weeks. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 weeks, but then it was like no airplane travel. And there was another thing too that was like, where I was like, okay, so they're watching for blood clots. So that would be why I would think. And I'm not supposed to lift my arms up and cause any stress. And it's like, oh, because that would like, could send some blood clots. And I definitely don't want blood clots right around like where, like right ears, right next to my heart and my lungs. But it would still have to go through my blood system. It would have to be, but anyways, blood clots will just kill you real quick. But when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. I mean, I don't think this is what's taking me out, but you know, if that's what happens, that's what happens. It's like that was meant to be. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. There is no like, well, if I do this, then this won't happen. Well, if I do that, you know, I can stop this. No, it's going to happen the way it happens. And the whole thing is about us learning how to be at peace, at trust, to be at peace as things are happening. Because why do you not feel peaceful? What is stressing you out? It's like, it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. As I kind of see it as like, you know, like a paper doll, like you're playing with the paper doll, and then you're all worried about the paper doll, and so the paper doll's life becomes your real like focus. Like you lose track of, you know, that you're back here playing with the paper doll. Like what does the paper doll have to fear? It has to fear you? Are you gonna tear it to shreds? You know, it's gonna put you through some stuff, but it's not gonna put you through anything you can't handle. Like that whole thing about God will never put you through something you can't handle. Yeah, because you're not gonna put yourself through something you can't handle. But yeah, you're gonna challenge yourself. You're gonna push yourself. And depending on, you know, your karmic debt, like how crappy you've done things in other lives. Like if you've hurt a lot of people or something, you know, you got to put it all back into balance all the time. So you have, you know, there's stuff going on, stuff that people don't think about or anything. Oh yeah, and also, you know, the person who, this Gina lady, the one who has the spaceship footage things, like she has her whole channel. So I just want to say, because then this conversation got bigger about her, and then it kind of became divided. Like she has people who really like her and people who really don't like her, which that's the way it is about everybody. You know, we align with people or we don't align with people. It's just the way it is. There's nothing for us to argue about it. It's like, oh, I get them or I don't get them. And but the thing about her is, for me, all the way back, when I very first started going on to YouTube and stuff, I started seeing her. So I know she's been around for a long time. And then I just started seeing her more often and more often, people sharing her videos. But I didn't ever go in and start, because I never needed confirmation about aliens or something. Like they were talking to me when I was a kid. Like I always knew. And I couldn't understand is why everybody else needed so much confirmation and why they didn't trust. Like it's always been confusing to me. But you know, but I have enjoyed, like I enjoyed David Wilcock stuff and Corey Good stuff and Ancient Aliens and Cosmic Disclosure. Like there was a lot of things that I enjoyed, but just, you know, looking for ships out in the sky and stuff. Like I see people looking at those videos all the time, and I just already know it's real. Like I don't need to look at it. And I did find the one fascinating though, how it was showing it was shooting up from this volcano, where they said these volcano was putting out smoke because it was becoming active, but you could see the smoke going straight up and you could see a silver disc at the top of each of the things. And so I thought that was really cool. And I thought, she's probably come a long ways. Dang, she's been out there doing this for a really long time. And so, yeah, I'm sure she has a lot of people who like her and a lot of people who don't like her. That just comes with the territory. But, anyways, any of the people that other people follow are no reason to argue. I mean, we follow people who we feel some sort of, kindred spirit, kinship, some kind of connection, some kind of like, oh, I get what they're saying. Oh, I get that. That is, well, that's what we should be doing. I mean, I know some people go and follow people they don't agree with just so they can argue, which I try and, weed through that, because that's something that people need to work on for themselves. I'm not going to be your partner, your sparring partner. I'm not going to argue back and forth with you about stuff. It's like a matter of opinion. It's like, you can like what you like, I like what I like, and that's just the way it is. And I just, I have a platform that I come out and I get to say what I like and don't like. But that is, it comes with risks and stuff. Like, you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to take the hate and people disagreeing with you. When I very first started, I thought I wouldn't be able to because of that. It felt like Twitter was kind of like my testing ground, where I would say things and then I would see what people would say. And then I would see, like, if I knew what I was talking about, if I could say things back. Is that, this whole thing is like, crazy. And I know it all has to do with awakening. That's the thing, is that everybody else subdivides it into other categories over what's going on and stuff like that. But the way I see it, it's all about the awakening. And as you awaken, you don't have to be as involved in the awakening. You can go into observation. Although there's still things that come up, like the eclipse, where it's like, okay, wait a minute. Like I already knew all this stuff from learning stuff from the flat earth documentaries and stuff, but I think that there's more to it even when that they figured out. I mean, there's just way too much stuff that doesn't make sense. And I've said for a long time, I think like we're in these realms. I don't think that we're in the places that they tell us. They created this map. They probably spin us around and shoot us out in places. There's portal travel. Like, there's so much more to this. And there's going to be so much more when we start realizing and get out of their control. It's like they truly keep us like in some sort of habitat. And so once we break free from that and we start, we're going to be able to travel through portals and stuff. I feel sure of that. Just like how these other beings, and it will have to do with your frequency, but you won't be able to, I don't know if there would be like a period of time where you can be like low vibration and still be going. It seems like you would have to be working on yourself through it. Like, you'd have to be in that energy of facing yourself and stuff to continue, even if you were low vibration. But at some point, if you don't get your vibration up to where you accept everybody, then that holds you back. Because you have to be willing to accept everybody. Like, if we can't even get along with other humans, how are we supposed to be getting along with like if a group of reptilians comes up to you and starts talking to you, you're automatically going to go, oh my God, they're evil, they're devils, they're going to run, everybody, they're going to eat us. Like, there's going to be beings that are going to be around us that we're going to be, it's going to be different. It's not going to be, that you can look at them like monsters. Which I just saw a guy doing a video who was saying that if you look it up in Webster's dictionary under, what is it, a human being or whatever, it says a sea monster, that we're sea monsters and we're not allowed to own land. So that is, it's all with their category, all with their, how they word things and stuff. So I don't know, because they took some of our DNA from the sea or something. And so they said we're sea monsters and that we're not allowed to own anything. It's a way for them to control and say that we're not under God's law. But the soul overrides that. Doesn't matter what the being is. We come into the being for the experience. The soul overrides it all. So God's law is over any of man's law as long as you know you're under God's law. That's the awakening. That's why people have to wake up and realize, hey, wait a minute. I don't have to listen to your laws. I'm under God's law. God's law overrides your laws. And, and it's a whole fucking thing. Now I have, more people asking me about the money situation. Like, when did you stop paying and how did you stop paying and all that stuff. And I want to say, it's stressful. Like you can't, I can't sit here and go like, oh yeah, everybody just do it. Like I was telling everybody to do it a long time ago. And then how this is drug out. And it's like, or there's a lot of times where I was like, fuck, I'm glad they kept paying their shit. Like there's no way they could have handled this. They would have lost all their stuff. And so I'm glad that, not everybody listened to me and jumped on and didn't pay, stopped when I did. But, it is like you have an internal, like I have an internal knowing that, I'm in the fight. It's like, I trust the universe is on my side. Like, I feel like I still know that this place is temporary. It's not, it's not on the new map. So whatever's going to go down. But I still feel like I'm the last owner. I don't feel like it's going to be taken out from under me. I feel like the banks are going to crash before. I think that that's what they're in the whole process of, is they're crashing. But when you're going through this fight with them, see, you got to trust that. And so many people haven't looked into the money thing and stuff. So they would be going at it, trying to follow somebody else's guidance. And mine comes from my own guides. So it was like what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to do this. And so, but, it's stressful when, I mean, all the way back, I think it was 2021. So I stopped paying my credit cards in 2020. And a big thing too is like we had just got back from my daughter's big wedding in Costa Rica. I let a bunch of people put a shit ton on my credit cards, and they were going to pay and their part and stuff like that. But my credit cards were all jacked up. We just get back, and then the next week we go into lockdown. And I had this big thing up ahead for a few weeks ahead of a place that was going to be, that this person was going to be at. And I thought, man, it's just so crazy how the different things that you think throughout time. but anyways, so once that happened, they started firing, like people couldn't go to work. Like my kids, one daughter lost her apartment. Two of them had to move in together because they couldn't afford, like everything was starting to really hit people financially when they started their bullshit in 2020. And that's what it was all for. It was all this to they wanted to crash it so that we would become more dependent on them, and they'd put us on this like compliancy passport. Like you have to do everything they say to get money, and 15 minutes to like all their stuff, all their plan, what they had planned to do. But there's another force, the force of nature, that comes in and says, no, that's what you can want to do, but that's not what we're gonna do. And so it has that whole energy force behind it. So there's people who are in that other energy. And so there was a whole system that started going against the bankers, but it's been going for a long time. Like when you start hearing about like all this stuff with Chase Bank and the bankers and Rockefeller, like when you start learning about the history and stuff with the money and taking us off the gold standard and stuff, like this has been going a long time. So this other force has been trying to fight for the freedom of humanity to get us off of their system. And it has to do with their taxes, their insurance, their debt, their interest. They're not giving us options. So it all goes together. And that we all have this money, and then they take control of it, and then they charge us for it. Like the whole thing is so weird, what these people do. And but it's the end of their reign, so it's there. All we have to do now is see it, and then release the parts of us that were attached to the different scenarios, the different aspects of this reality. And so when we got back and when they couldn't pay, and I started seeing all this stuff about what was going on with the financial, I was like, fuck this. Fuck these fucking banks. Fuck this fucking bullshit. And I stopped paying my credit cards. And so anyways, that started early on in 2020. And then and I stopped paying the house once Winston got sick. I was having these huge vet bills, and so uh, I had asked if I could skip a house payment. And that's when they said, oh yeah, you can be on the moratorium. I'm like, hell yeah. So I didn't have to make that payment. So I skipped all that like year of making the payment, and then they put it back on. And then I started paying again. But in that time I stopped paying taxes. So I didn't pay any taxes, which I haven't heard anything about that. And in the credit cards, I sometimes will get a thing from like somebody who'll say like I'm in collections or something. Or one time I got something, they said they were going to take me to court and make a lien or something. I was like, fuck it, do what you want, I don't care. So I've just ignored it all because I know it's all bullshit. I know that the whole thing is corrupt, and the whole thing is that they're gonna lose. And so that's what I've banked on the whole time. And so then even on the second time when I stopped paying the house, whatever that was, last year or sometime, and then they started going through the process and tell me, it was late, and then they were going to foreclose and all that stuff. And I started getting all this stuff like that if I wanted to sell my house for cash. So see, I can, out of my panic, hurry up and take a cash offer that will just give the money to the bank, leave me with nothing, or make me hurry up and have to leave. And then they have my house that they can, jack up the price and sell it to somebody else on a jacked up price, not fix the stuff that needs to be fixed. The whole thing is just corrupt. And so to me, I just, just started ignoring the thing. Everything that would come up, I would think like, there's something shady about this. This is shady. You just feel like this shadiness. And so I'm still getting stuff. Like I just got something the other day. It said I'm on the foreclosure list or something. I think that all they can do right now is make threats on us. That's what I'm curious. Like, but it could be in some states. It could be like it all depends on, a lot of factors, and it depends on what you are here to learn. And so it's all about our lessons. And to me, I already lost 2 houses. I lost one when I got my brain injury. I lost the next one when I got divorced. And so now, to me, this is like third time is a charm. They're not winning this time. Like, this is like when I win by just standing my ground and knowing I have human rights and trusting in the universe. And, and just seeing where it goes. But, any of these things you do, it does take trust. Like you still have like pressures, you still have like things coming to you where it's like, oh, okay, so what's my move here? What am I going to do here? And then, you got to think about it. And there's always consequences. The consequences are your part of learning. So, and it's all about learning and fine tuning your communication. Because the more you understand what they're saying, the more, or the less experience, the less mistakes that you will make, the less things where you are like, oh man, I knew I should have done it this way. I knew I should have done it that way. I knew I should have taken that with me. And that isn't the same as what I was talking about. That is more of like where they tell you like, oh, don't forget your umbrella. And then you're outside and it starts pouring on you. You're like, oh my God, I knew I should have listened. And, but I was in a hurry. I just had other things on my mind. See, that's what I've caught myself doing, is they'll say stuff like that. They'll say something, and then, I'll have other things on my mind. I'll be busy thinking or noise, and then, I won't compute it. I won't think it through. I'll just hear it. And then it echoes once you realize it's like, oh, it's raining on me. I should have listened to that voice. And so that is one thing. What was the other thing that I was saying earlier? Because um, because there's another part that, because it has to do with getting with the flow, and not being, um, it's not getting upset about when things don't go right or when you have consequences or something, to realize like it's part of your lessons, it's part of what you're supposed to be learning or doing. It isn't, everything's not meant to go perfect. Everything's not meant to go right all the time. What's the challenge in that? Where do you learn or grow if everything is just always going great and perfect? Everything is meant to be challenging, but not like, even when you go through the worst situations, like, what was that one? I was watching this, I think I've seen this movie before. It's super sad and it popped up. And it is like a high school shooter guy, but you're watching as this is building up, like with this kid and how he's just so mad. And it's just like the way he looks at life. He's just so mad and nothing goes right and just blaming others for all his problems. And and then his friend that he was trying to manipulate into going with them, he kept saying like people were saying things that they weren't saying. Like he was trying to really get this kid down. And this kid had so many problems because his dad had killed himself. And so then the mom had lost it. She just started drinking and doing drugs. She couldn't handle life. And so then it left this boy just like to raise himself. And he was so frustrated with his mom, so frustrated, and was very like what you would think of verbally abusive. But then you also think of like what it would be like for that kid to go through this. And, his mom won't do anything or take care of anything. She's just wasted. She can't handle life. She's always whining and crying. And I was like, man, when people go through really horrible things, it is like we need something. But I know all that is like soul stuff. Like that is so much deeper with soul stuff. So it's not like we are meant to fix that. It's supposed to go through this process. That's where the lessons are. But I also just feel like that we need to keep looking at things of like how we can improve it, how we can improve life, how we can improve our relationships, how we can improve how we enter the world and how we communicate our feelings, how we communicate our needs, and not putting them off onto other people with expectation, taking responsibility for our own feelings and stuff, not thinking that everybody else has got our feelings under their hand, like that they can control all our feelings, to recognize that we have control over our feelings. It's how we look at things. It's how we process things. And to me, everything, that you can, to go in deeper. Just look at things deeper every chance that you get. And I don't know. I just think that's really beneficial. I've always been like really deep, like where people think it's weird. And so yeah, I don't know how other people think. I can just say it's beneficial if you go in deeper when you think. Like you don't have to move through a situation at, Mach speed or Mach whatever. You don't have to go fast. You can slow down and take your time and think it through and realize like there's consequences, there's action and reaction. And so to go at it, with that kind of knowledge in mind, like, it's okay to think things through and to try and understand yourself on a deeper level or understand other people. But I was like, man, when people go through such huge crises, we need to have some kind of a, more of a, some kind of a thing there for people. Like, as you know, that is just a movie, but you know that scenario is playing out all over the place. There's all sorts of people, especially like one parent, and once they're overwhelmed, then they're not good for their kids. They're not good for anybody. They're just strung out on something. And I know it all has to do with the lessons in between them all. They're all there to teach each other and stuff like that. But again, like I said, it is more about this uh, growing and, you know, doing better and realizing like when people really are in crises. But also, as a person in crises, they have to also, you know, give themselves a certain time for mourning and then pull themselves out of the crises. Part of your lessons is learning how to survive, to keep going, you know, to know this person didn't really leave you. It's all an illusion. Like, there's a lot of things, you know. But yeah, some people will just get so stuck. And it can take I think some people can go through their whole lifetime and just live like in sadness and unbearable pain. I don't know why that would be more comfortable. It always seems to me that facing things seems like the better way to go. And I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I just start feeling like, man, people just look at things so differently. It's hard to explain. Like, how do you tell somebody when you don't even know what the hell they're doing, how to do it different? Like, I don't know. I can only explain, like, what I do, but, you know, I can't explain how to tell you how to do what I do. It's like you have to find your own path into, you know, I think it has to do with acceptance of things and just looking at things deeper for deeper meaning. Why would this be happening? And, you know, yesterday there was so many different footages and stuff, so much stuff leading up to the eclipse. Now there's such a weird thing about the after, where I bet you there is going to be people who are going to get sick, I think. And, oh yeah, now they got this big storm going, which also can lead to this earthquake, because that one guy said that there's going to be some kind of earthquake. And he's tracking, like, through patterns of movement or something. He's not just like, oh, well, I think this, or my dream said that. So, but one of the footages I saw was a woman, and she was looking out at the sun or the clouds or something, and something started I don't remember, but something started happening, and a face appeared. Another face. I have seen so many fucking faces up in the sky. Like, giant ass faces. Giant ass faces are looking down through the firmament. We, you know, if they're giant ass faces, that's what we are. We're just as giant as them. Like, that just shows you. We are like game pieces. We are tiny little game pieces inside this little fucking snow globe. And we got these giant ass beings looking down, watching us. And on the TV, a face just all of a sudden when I said that. That was weird. Let me think, because no matter what, you just got to keep remembering, like, as all this stuff goes, like, they definitely have a lot more people talking about things. Like, I think that there's a lot of stuff that has to open in people's minds about the sky, about our reality. And so it seems like that there's more of that with the, you know, to wake people up, wake people up. But there still is this event. Something is still to come. And I don't know if I already had said that the one guy who, oh yeah, because about the energy coming through. I was trying to think of some other ones that I had seen of, there's a lot of different footage. There was definitely some that seemed fake. There's like There's a lot of weird stuff. There's a lot of weird illusion stuff too on the lives. Like there's people who go make like it's live right now, but I think they're doing videos. Like where they had The Rock and they were making like he was live all the time, but I think they were making videos of his other videos of him live on Instagram or something. Then they're bringing him over there. There's a lot of shady shit that I don't know, the social media mogul people allow the shady stuff on there. Is that they've got to know about it. I mean, they're on top of us for every little fucking word we say. So I have a hard time not thinking that they know about all this shady shit. They allow it. So, you know, it's weird. But there still is something to come. There's still something to come. And the money thing is going to crash. I mean, that's for sure. Those things, all this stuff that is going to crash, those things are for sure. Like, we're not going forward. I can't imagine we're going to go through, finish 2024. I don't think that we're going to have the election. I don't think that's going to go through. I think over the next couple months, it's just going to go wild and more things crashing, collapsing. You know, Joe will go down, Kamala will go down, all the government, and the medical will start going. And all of the things will start crashing. They'll start having bankruptcy. There'll be lawsuits. There'll be all sorts of stuff that will start going on. Right now, it's like, I don't know. For a lot of people, I think there's a lot of stuff coming out that's like confirmation. So there's confirmation. So to give you trust, like, okay, shit is really going on. Because you have these other people that, you know, they decided that there was a date. If something hadn't happened by this date, then obviously it was all made up. It's like, oh my gosh. I say keep paying attention to what's going on around you because there's shit going on all the time. And, and I just saw that on some sort of celebrity news now, the Kardashians are going down and they're losing everything. But everything that they built was all off of fakeness, phoniness, deceit, deception. So, yeah, all of that kind of energy is going to fall apart. And it's not going to, you know, they're not going to continue in their success. No, it's going to be a dramatic fall down and be exposed for being skeezy. Like, you know, I mean, she was having Kim do sex tapes to get their family famous. Like, who tells their daughter to do that? You know, so all that stuff is going to be exposed, what they're willing to do for money. It's like, why are you willing to do that for money? Like, I don't know. Just, there's something so weird about like how much people want money so bad. And I swear to God, I just feel like so lucky for my childhood sometimes because you know, there was a period of time where we had a lot of money, or everybody in my school thought I was one of the richest kids in school. And it didn't make me feel better. I felt just as insecure. I didn't feel like I wasn't getting it. Like I may have had some stuff that was nice, but I didn't appreciate it or something. Like, you know, I just wanted what the other kids had. I just wanted one of those Letterman jackets, not a suede jacket with a fur or rabbit skin or rabbit fur or whatever the hell was popular. I swear rabbit fur jackets were really popular. But, and sheepskin ones, but I don't think they kill the sheeps for that. They just take their wool. But I don't know, maybe they take the skin. Maybe that's why it's sheepskin. But, I don't know, I haven't looked into all that stuff. But anyways, but my dad hung out, like there was always rich people over at my house. I was around a lot of people who really had a lot of money. Like, you know, I don't know. I just have a completely different look on things. Like once you start seeing things and becoming aware of things, then you start looking back at your childhood and you start seeing things that are like, you look at it a lot different. But anyways, I was around a lot of people who had a lot of money, and I never ever, I always thought, what in the hell is money? Like, it doesn't make these people better people. A lot of people, it makes them way worse of people. So I've never understood like why people are so desperate to have a bunch of money like that, to just be rich, just to be rich. Like, I'll do anything just to be rich. I'll do anything to be rich. It's like, I don't know. That's not a, like, to me, I always could see, like, that's not going to work out. That's not going to work out at all. Like, it's going to backfire because it's not meant to work that way. Like, maybe you're meant to go a certain distance, like the Kardashians, but then you're meant to face the other side because everything's going full circle. So, a lot of people who did a lot of shady stuff is all going to be exposed. The, you know, there's going to be a sense of humility for a lot of people. But that is the part of like, well, you always have the opportunity to humble yourself. And just be like, yeah, I'm just a human. I'm just a sea monster. What can I do? Like, I'm not perfect. Who's perfect? None of us are perfect. But, as some people, things go wrong, or you're going to see like, there's going to be a whole bunch of people taking themselves out. And don't forget, when they take themselves out, they can't take themselves out unless it was always meant to go that way. So when that is happening, don't be thinking like, oh my God, now they're going to do it. No, you can't leave unless that was always the way it's going to go. Because there's a ton of lessons for the people involved when that stuff happens. Every kind of exit has lessons that go with it. And it's the people left behind that have to go through the lessons. So there will be a lot of people who are going to not be able to face themselves, not be able to humble. Their ego is going to be, killing them, and they're going to not be able to handle it. So they will, exit the game. They won't level up. The leveling up will take you, just think of this as like a video game, and doing better and handling things better and using your tools. And your tools or your gifts are the challenges you've gone through. Just like the one that I can think of, that, like my mom being cold, it made me into a stronger woman. There's things that people have done to you, or that you feel weren't there for you or something, but it made something in you grow. So, that wouldn't have grown without that other thing being not there. So everything that grew from you, from everything that was missing in your life, are your gifts. Those are things that not everybody has. Those are things that you got to appreciate about yourself. And so those are your tools. So when you're going through life, you use those tools in order to proceed. And so that is like, when you learn how to use your tools and become the master of your own life, that is your ascension process. That is you moving yourself forward in the game. That's you leveling up. And that is what all this is about, is, how well can you keep leveling up? And, I can just say the leveling up is learning how to trust yourself, trust the universe, to be in the flow of things, not trying to control things, not beating your head up against destiny's wall, not screaming at Father Time. It's just kind of like, okay, and I've got a lot of practice. Like, even this next 2 weeks, it will be a lot of practice. It's like, my engines are just roaring. I'm just ready to hurry up and get there. Let's just go, go, go. But there's all these things that have to happen in between. And so I've got to just kind of chill and be like, okay, well, some shit's got to happen in between. It'll be fine. We'll get there. But that is a part of, learning how to, be in union with time, be in respect of time, be in respect of destiny, and to understand that it has a plan, it has a play out. It's already in the process. All you're screaming and yelling and stomping around and You're trying to make deals and thinking if you go left and not right that you can change it. It's just like that's all up in here. That's you just wasting energy. And when you can, focus on having the respect for life, for what it's giving you. And what's giving you is an opportunity to witness yourself, to understand yourself, to clean up old karma, to get new opportunities every day, to see like who you can be, who are you becoming, who do you want to be. And it's like it's a beautiful opportunity, but everybody keeps fighting against the wrong things instead of getting into the groove of it. So anyways, that's what this awakening is all about, is coming into union to yourself, to the planet, to your universal place in this world and what you're doing here. And so the more that you get into that flow, then that is in your awakening. The more you focus on who you are, the being who is, holding the paper doll, the being who is moving the paper doll around. So focusing on that person, the player on the game, not the player piece. And so, like I said, like the flight plan, like being in the airplane and not being on autopilot and start listening to the air traffic controller and where they're telling you to go and what you're going to encounter. And you can ask questions, don't forget that they are there for you, but you got to build that relationship. If you haven't yet, that is a relationship you can build. And it can seem frustrating because you have to get used to being able to listen to yourself on the inside and be able to determine through all the different voices in there, through their energy, of what it's trying to tell you, where it's trying to lead you, what's going on. So, it's a lot more complicated, but that's where, I think you put your energy is towards everything that's going to make you better. It's like you're leveling up. So you don't want to be focusing on things that are holding you back. So anyways, but that's what the whole thing with the awakening is, this frustration of being mad and being angry and why this doesn't work and what are we doing about that and what are we going to do? Why are we doing this? No, it's all about this, like waking up, and there will be more people that have to get sick. Is there's a whole thing like I would think, there's like a huge dependency on the medical. And so we have there's going to be more and more purging out, stuff. In the storms, we got more storms, we got fucking earthquakes, we got all this shit still to go until until we get to that point where we're just all living in bliss. So like we got more shit to go. But don't forget that it may even though there's shit going on around you, it doesn't necessarily have to be a tangle in my hair. It doesn't necessarily have to cause you issues. You have to learn how far in you're going to go into an issue, how deep you're going to go into something. You're going to just realize it, witness it, know about it, and just move on. That's kind of like how I think of. Like, I definitely am way more of a hummingbird. Like, oh, okay, let's go look. Okay, bye. Like, saw what I got to see. Now I'm going, and some people are like woodpeckers. They're just going to go. They're going to get to something. There's all different things, Some people are like robins. They're going to go in there and dig and pull up the worms. Everybody has a different way of doing things. I would just say, do what you can to not get stuck. Don't just sit there like a woodpecker pecking away at something. Move to a new place. Look at things different. Get a new perspective. And I just remember what everything's about is you finding you connecting to you facing you becoming the you that you wanted to be, the you that you thought you could become when you were a kid, but then you decided that you needed to please everybody else, and so you stopped pursuing you and started trying to please them. So it's all that work. It's all that cleaning that up, all that witnessing in yourself of your behaviors and why you do that and why you do this. And, getting to that part where you can feel healthy and have positive relationships because, you are reasonable. That's the thing is like so many people, they don't realize like when they're on autopilot, they're stuck. You can't have like conversations with them and stuff. They can only see what they can see. The more that you open your mind, the more you can see. And so, that's, or is just, just keep trying to open your mind. Just keep trying to look at things bigger in a broader perspective. Like, I just think it's so important because their whole premise in this fucking place is to control and to make you smaller, make your life smaller, make your world smaller, your view of yourself smaller. This place, everything is so much smaller than what it is. So the more that you can see, because like one thing, like with religion, that is a complete soul trap. Like they have got people's spirits trapped in this concept of religion that is completely fake. And it really gets to me is like how many of these people think that that's the one and only God, the God that they worship. And then if you don't worship their God, then you're obviously worshiping the devil. You're not worshiping the real God. There's only one real God. And, that right there, there is just so much limitation in all their teachings. I would say, there going to be multiple gods. It depends on, there's some people, the Kardashian is their God. Depends on what you worship, where you put your energy. And so everybody, this is why this is like this time of this celebrity kind of collapse is because of how much people had elevated them, had stopped focusing on themselves and started focusing on other people's lives, kind of like jonesing after their life or creaming after what they could have, to just be like, oh, I just want what they have. I just want what they have. And losing track of what you have, and a lot. This was something that was so obvious for so fucking long to me is like, well, the people in Hollywood, they have, what seems like all glitz, but all of them have shitty relationships. Hardly ever do you see any that have like happy relationships where they feel satisfied, they feel close to somebody. So, there's a downside to a lot of the stuff that people wish that they could have. And it's like you're wishing for the good part, but you don't even know the bad part. Besides the fact, all those things, all those experiences are all the lessons that those people came in to experience. They're a part of their soul's journey. It's a part of what they were supposed to go through to learn and to grow, to, some cases be, on the, be on the top, be in the crown, under the crown or whatever, and then to fall from grace. That's a whole thing. It's something that has to play out. And it's, the souls that will play it out is because it works for their soul journey. But anyways, there's just been so much of this fakeness, of not being really connected to yourself and chasing what somebody else has, lusting after somebody else, what they have. How many people even, lusting after some other guy's wife just on how she looks? Not even, that's another thing that is so warped in our society, to not be able to see past the shell, to, everybody's just stuck on only being able to see the shell. So, that's a lack of depth in our society. Like, what does the shell have to do with anything? Haven't we seen, like, fuck, your shell can get fucked up, man. You can get fucking all sorts of shit can go down. Like, it's part of your lessons when it does. But, you know, I mean, what does that change who the person is on the inside? You know, that's what we got to recognize is like, oh, they're still the same people. They just look weird now, or this happened or that happened. Like, you know, maybe they got their legs cut off, or yeah, maybe they weren't born with any. And so all of those different challenges that people go through, it's all, you know, those people picked that. They came in to have that experience. It wasn't like they just got born into, you know, like, oh, that person got born into a really good one and that person got born into a bad one. No, they all decided before they came in which they were choosing. And the ones that are disabled from the start, those are supposedly, those are in the biggest, like we line up to get into those experiences because of the huge amount of love that you can bring to the world and the huge amount of karma you can clean up. So there's so when you see somebody who is like disabled in some way, you know, it doesn't mean that they really are disabled. It means they're coming in to play a role for an experience. And you know, it can be a beautiful experience. Like, you can really teach people a lot from all these different things. You know, like if you go and you have a wreck and you end up in a wheelchair, and you don't let that get you down, you don't let it destroy you, you make the best out of your life, that shows other people that that's possible. Because some people, they have such a hard time getting over the hard part. So everybody who can show, like, you just push through, don't stop, keep going. You can turn things around. You don't have to be perfect to have a good life. And that is something important that we all have to learn and appreciate. And appreciate everybody's obstacles and stuff. Like, you know, they're there to teach and to learn, and we can learn from everybody else's. We don't have to just be learning from our own. We can learn compassion and empathy and love and unity and connection and forgiveness, all of that stuff. So, anyways, and while you're learning all that, you got to remember to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.